and European ancestors.
What's especially interesting in your case is that you were adopted. So your genealogy can't prepare us for what we might find in your DNA.
Right.
Okay? Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
Why don't you turn that page? Now, according to this test, Linda Johnson Rice, you have an extraordinary amount of European ancestry for an African American, 40%. Would you read those results?
20% European.
You're 1/5 white.
Wow. Oh, man. I'm horrible in sports, so maybe this explains that. My jump shot is horrible.
I'm 35% European.
19% European.
Are you surprised to know that you have that much European ancestry?
I guess so. As dark complected as I am.
It means you're third white.
Well, that's surprising.
You are 33% European.
Really?
I'm 50-50. To my horror,
Yeah.
the chairman of African American Studies at Harvard at the time was a half a white man.
Yeah. Wow, you're kidding.
There's a lot of sneaking and creeping back there on the plantation.
I guess. I guess. Oh, my goodness.
Naming these white ancestors, however, is another matter entirely. Much of our European ancestry comes from male slave owners who raped their female slaves. And even when a sexual relationship was consensual, few white men had the courage to embrace their black families publicly. A possible exception can be found in Tom Joyner's family. Tom's great-grandmother was the daughter of a slave and her owner, a white lawyer named Edward Hall.
That's my white man in the woodshed.
That is your white man in the woodshed.
Wow.
Now, your aunt told us that it was taken as fact that Jane Hall and Ed Hall had a relationship, Tom, like Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings. Now, in fact, your aunt said that Jane Hall was the closest thing that Ed Hall had to a wife. You know how black people claim all this stuff. Now, this is the 1870 census, Tom. And what we find is that your great-great-grandmother is living with her daughter, Janet, and her son, Robert, in the household. But can you see who is living next door?
Edward Hall?
Edward Hall, living next door. Obviously, they had a long-term stable relationship, and he couldn't marry her, so he kept her next door. After slavery.
And he didn't have a white family? You putting a lot on her, brother.
I'm not finished. Amazing as this was, you turn the page, my brother. That is Ed Hall's father, your third great-grandfather.
A Supreme Court justice in the state of North Carolina.
A Supreme Court justice in the state of...
three.
That's right. That's your ancestor. Direct. Smoking pistol.
I've looked around my family. I've never seen anybody with these eyes until just now. I haven't seen anybody in my family that have gray eyes.
So your great-grandfather was a white man. Did you know this?
Yeah, my mother said so. Yeah.
Does it bother you at all?
What's the bother? It's me. I don't know. I think anybody should be pleased at whoever your ancestors were.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're here.
No, absolutely.
When people were trying to diminish the capacities or the credibility of Booker T. Washington, used to say he's white.
Right, because he was a mulatto.
Because any good had come from the white side. And so I've always been very sensitive to that, but I've never thought of myself having any white blood in me.
How are white ancestors part of African American history, do you think?
How?
Sure. Or are they?
Gosh,
Yeah, of course they're a part of our African American history, and more prevalent in the South than anywhere else in the country.
Yeah, you got to have proximity to have sex. Right?
You got to have proximity to have it, right? Absolutely.